Okay,
And
go.
in a surprising twist, we have another episode for you. I'm sure those who watched the last episode weren't expecting such a quick turnaround, considering 1 episode every 3 months in this COVID days. But once football is back, fans are back in the stadium, so we have an episode for you guys today. But before we start off, we have a small little segment from Utsav, a, a quiz from the quiz master himself. Utsav, Gary, take it.
Okay. So, only 6 teams in Champions, and this one you guys can do together. Only 6 teams in Champions League history have made the final after losing the first leg of the semifinals. I will give you one of them because I think it's really hard. Ajax back in 95, 96.
I knew that's the only one I knew.
Right. Yeah. Against the Greek side that I cannot pronounce. Panathinaikos. Who are the other 5 teams to make the Champions League final after losing the first semi-final leg?
Liverpool.
I need the years, like
Liverpool
the team.
2019 against Barca.
Okay, that is one correct. They lost the first like 3-0
and then they won 4-0
and won at home 4-0.
Corner taken quickly.
This is in the history of like the Champions League.
Yeah.
So since 92 or like ever? I think probably like since 90 or whatever.
Sure, we'll say that because none of these I will say are before that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have asked the question.
Okay. Madrid?
Can I just say Madrid? It's in a year.
You have to mention the year, dude.
I would have said it if you said yeah.
There's no Madrid.
Okay.
It seems kind of crazy that there's only 6 teams have done it, honestly, but this is what it says. So,
United against Juventus in '99.
No, I don't see that.
What is that? Quarters.
Barcelona.
No Barcelona. You guys have seen at least 4 of these games, FYI. Whoa. There's one that you might not have, but Ashwin probably knows about it, to be honest, out of the 3 of you. I mean, if we're being honest. Anish might. He knows those random ones, but there's no way Apoor does. But the others you should know, and there's like 2 like you 100% know. All 3 of you.
Tottenham in the same year against Ajax.
Yep. Yeah. Tottenham in the same year against Ajax.
So wait, this has nothing to do with away or home. It's just first like they lost and then lost.
Ironic. Yeah, no, because I was gonna say all of them, but no, Spurs lost at home first, obviously. But the other teams, other 3 all did lose away first. Just as if that's a hint. And 2 of these remaining 3 were also in the same year.
In the semi-final. Chelsea? Napoli?
Incorrect.
No, that was like in the round of 16.
That was round of 16, remember? Like right after he got sacked.
Yeah. Then, yeah.
In the same year, that actually makes it so interesting. Bayern and Dortmund against Madrid, but they beat Madrid 4-1.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was rewatching that goal the other day, the Lewandowski goal where he roots it.
Yeah, dude, the turn. I mean, give us some more clues then, like just.
Okay, so one of the teams has already. So you said Chelsea, right? Chelsea was on the losing side of one of these.
When the other team made the final, essentially,
Correct.
After losing the semi-final. Oh, so it was United against.
No.
Bayern they beat. They lost to United only. But United against played Schalke.
No, they lost.
And the other game that you guys are missing, United was on the losing end of. Same year.
AC Milan?
Yes, there you go. AC Milan
wait, they lost
the first like 3-2 away and then they won 3-0 at home. 2006, 2007.
Who did they play? Wait, that was the United semi-final.
Yeah.
Yeah, then they played Liverpool.
Who
in
did
the
they play in the
final?
final? And who did Liverpool beat in the semi-final?
Chelsea.
And it was a famous goal.
Oh. Okay, so how many is
And
that?
the remaining one I'll just tell you was in 2002-2003, Juventus versus Real Madrid. Juventus lost 2-1 away. And that was the one Apoorv probably was about to get.
No, not this one.
And another quick question for all you listeners. So that I just saw a little while ago on actually Twitter was Erling Haaland is the first under 21 player to score 40 goals in one of Europe's top 5 leagues since who?
Michael Owen.
No.
Wait, in
Messi.
one season or like fastest player to get there?
One season.
He scored 40 goals this season?
Not in the league.
All competitions.
All competitions.
All competitions.
Messi?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Messi.
No,
This player had to be under 21.
Wayne Rooney?
Messi was...
No. It was a while ago, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, Ronaldo. The
Yep.
fat Ronaldo. Yeah.
Oh, damn. Owen didn't score 40 goals.
Dude, this fact, dude, what fat Ronaldo.
Yeah, I guess
shame.
not.
Ronaldo Nazario.
Good.
No, it's
Yeah.
because I sent Apoorv the tweet.
Real Ronaldo.
Body shame, dude.
Yeah, real.
But speaking of Erling Haaland, we can just move on to Man City and how they've won the title. And one of the first things that I wanted to talk to you guys about is where's Harry Kane going?
To the aforementioned club, Man City.
Do we think
I
Pep
think-
would want him? Do you think he would fit their style?
Yeah, because he's way more than a striker, and he might be the first striker since I think Henry or something to finish the highest in goals and assists in the same season. If he manages to outscore Salah, so I think he'll be
Suarez never did.
no for
23rd,
both assists and
2019.
goals in the same season.
Right.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think Suarez came close because Suarez had a lot of assists though, but I feel like Silva something would have had like 16, 17 assists because
I think Fabregas
this season-
might have. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
so
just
I think he would fit perfectly in a Pep system. He comes back. He likes to pass the ball. He's a complete player. He's not just like an out and out striker. So I think he would fit.
I think
I just don't see it for some reason.
Especially with
I don't know what it is.
Aguero going to Barca and like Jesus being like not so good. I think it would be like perfect buy.
Yeah, Jesus, I think we all expected, he's had a ridiculous goals to game ratio before this season, but this was the first season where he actually got starting time and he's been a complete failure. But coming back to Kane, I think would Pep, if they could get Haaland next season, would they waste 120 million on a guy with like so many injury problems? I think game style wise, it's perfect. He's definitely I completely agree with all the points Apoorv made. He's an exceptional all round player. His passing, his vision, his ability to play a 1-2s off the midfield. It's he's been think about where Spurs would be this season without him. He's been absolutely integral to every single attack, every single play they make. But I guess Bala wants to continue on this point because when you can get Haaland next season on a 60, 75 million, why would you get the injury-prone striker in for 120? Because Levy's going to try to squeeze the hell out of whoever because he doesn't have to sell also, right? Because there's no contract. So I don't really see. I mean, it could make sense, but I don't know if City are smart. I don't think they make this move. I think this is a very United move.
This is a United Chelsea type move, right? Yeah. So I was thinking about Chelsea, and this has Chelsea written all over it, except for the fact that they just spent how much ever on Werner, and then the fact that are Spurs really going to sell to arguably one of their biggest rivals? If we're saying Arsenal's their biggest rival, are they really going to sell to Chelsea? But at the same time, on the Werner situation, it seems like if there's ever a club to just write up something as a loss and just still buy, would be a Chelsea or a Real Madrid, where they're just screw that, it's Harry Kane, we want him. In terms of United, I don't know. I wonder what the impact of Cavani signing that 1-year deal was. Obviously, at the time, they had no idea of Kane's availability, but obviously, I think Cavani is much more than just the actual player. It seems like it's more about his actual influence on the team as a senior role player. And then you come to Liverpool once again. I don't really see Klopp doing that. But in terms of styles, I think what you said, Apoorv, is so true because You think back maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, Kane was obviously, he wasn't really much more than that, but now he pretty much can do anything he wants on the field.
Yeah, it's honestly fascinating because if a year ago you said Kane was available, you'd say there's like 10 teams, that would like really want to pick him up. But it's just the circumstances of COVID and how so many teams don't have money. And, like I guess the teams outside of Europe, Bayern, there's no, I mean, Lewandowski is like 10 times the player that anybody thought he was going to be. And then you have Madrid with the way Benzema's playing. I don't think replacing him is in the plans. I mean, shout out to Benzema for making the France squad also. Like that team has just gotten like so much stronger with him in it. But it's just fascinating. 120 million. I wouldn't be shocked if I see him. Like
PSG.
Sadly on the
Said he wants to
Tottenham
stay.
Stadium.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he'll just like begrudgingly like take a contract extension, just try to get as much money for himself, and he'll end up being like a Letizia or a not by choice.
No
but,
way is he gonna do a contract extension in Spurs. He's so like fed up with them. I mean, the fact
maybe
that he
not an
came out,
extension.
I completely agree with what you said about Daniel Levy, but the entire reason that he came out and did this entire interview with Gary Neville, and he's been so vocal about him wanting to leave, is because of, I guess, he knows what Daniel Levy is like, and if he comes out and says all this in his interviews, it probably like puts pressure on Daniel Levy as well to like, it forces him to like listen to clubs and everything. So I mean, I do think that City, there's no way he comes out and says all this without having a sort of nod, like his agent or whatever would have actually spoken to others as well. There's no way he comes out so vocal because he's been very straightforward and honest, and there's no way he does that if he doesn't have like a sort of understanding with the club already. And I think City definitely have already like spoken to him or his agent, because when Pep was asked about it as well, he seemed pretty coy. He's like, I'm not going to talk about.
He said Harry Kane's a Tottenham player.
Yeah. But he didn't outright say no, I'm not going to do it or anything like that. Which is what Pep usually says about like other players.
No, and City, like now, if they go and buy like more centre backs or wing backs or midfielders, it'll just be stupid. The only fucking thing they can buy is a striker, and they can just spend that 100 mil, so they just get Hazard Kane.
For wing backs, bro.
Yeah, but I completely agree. I think City are desperate for a 9, but my only thing was Haaland. Like I just feel like.
Sorry, Ashan, I have to cut you off because I'm saying because.
Haaland's coming
what stops them like from buying Haaland also? Yeah. Like they get.
What do you mean, dude?
No, not now. Like in a year or two, because
like
Haaland's not leaving this year.
Yeah, Haaland will definitely stay this year. Looks like.
I'm sure if he has an option like of Haaland and Kane, he gets Haaland every day.
No, but Haaland's going to Bayern. They have a clause that you write when you come to Dortmund. You're going to Bayern for a couple of years first.
Just replace fucking Lewandowski.
The perfect age also. He's getting like
everything
training, Champions League like experience, all of that. But anyway, I mean that's a pretty interesting discussion. That there's a lot that we have like a lot of fodder for the summer. But coming back to this season, I think something Anitej wanted to do, and I think it's a really interesting prospect, is best and worst signing of the year. And I think like best signing, I would think it's without a doubt Diaz.
Yeah.
In terms of the impact he's had overall this year, I don't think you can really make an argument for anyone else. But I think after Diaz, you could definitely say that there's a lot of candidates like for who's second most influential. Considering, I would say like a few nominees out there would be like Rafinha. I had someone at the top. Kufal from West Ham. I think he's been outstanding, for them. Like really solidified. Got to talk about Lingard and Billock as like mid-season.
Yeah, I was gonna say Lingard, honestly.
Yeah.
No, and honestly, Cavani also at the end of the season, he's been incredible. Yeah. Like he just.
If you talk about like not just Premier League overall impact on the
Yeah.
Like
so I think there's definitely like shouts, but I mean for me I was gonna like shout out Rafinha because I think for the way he is transformed the way that team plays, and for them to like literally they're in a position now where if like things go crazy they can make the last European spot, and that's absolutely outstanding considering where everybody we expected this team to be entertaining and everything, but consistency. Watkins is another great shout, but. Worst signing again. I think. I mean, obviously, this is. I'm like sort of like stalling, so this gives you guys time to think of who you guys are gonna pick because
I think worst and best is pretty obvious, to be honest.
who
I
is
feel like
what?
all of us would agree on the worst as well. Would
Aubameyang
be one
re-signing
of
his contract.
that too as well.
I don't have someone in my mind. Who do you think is
I don't
the
think Werner's been
Werner,
that bad to say
Werner,
worst.
Werner? No way. I don't think so.
I mean, to be
Ziyech, you could argue Ziyech has been
Yeah, I
way
would say
less
Ziyech is
influential.
worse. Yeah.
Like Werner, I
No,
understand what Anitesh
honestly,
are trying to say
he has the
because of the
stats.
expectations and like what we
Not
expect
just
like a
that,
20
man. Like
strike.
he's been so bad for
Dude,
the number of chances he's
I
got.
saw a meme where when he celebrated when he scored the hand pass, if he didn't know he hit it with his hand, how did he
Yeah,
celebrate like that, dude? He was
how is he so dumb? I didn't understand that whatsoever. I was like, what a dumbass. Like, was he trying to steal that goal? Like, how
I think he's just
like,
that
too old
desperate
of
to
his
like
hand.
celebrate.
but like it's gonna be chalked up. VAR looks at everything.
Yeah, I don't.
That's how desperate he is. But honestly, I'll tell you why I don't see him as the worst transfer at least yet. Maybe next season, if he continues the same, he'll definitely come into that category. But because you can see signs of like promise, you can definitely see that he's on the verge. The Premier League is a hard
Yeah,
league to play in.
I agree.
To come in at like he's like 20. He just turned 25 this year. He's not like the old he's not at the peak of his career by any means. He has a ways to go. I would have said Havertz for sure, like a couple of months ago, but like under Tuchel, that guy looks like really, really
But to be
dangerous.
fair, when we talk about Ziyech, I feel like Ziyech was a lot more in the picture with Lampard.
Even with Lampard, was he like ever really
He
that
had
good?
like
Yeah.
a couple like good
This is
crosses
with
where
I
he
mean, in
whips it
terms of output,
across the ball. He just whips it across the box.
Honestly, I would think that like one of the worst signings initially at least looked like the what is his name? Thomas Partey and Thiago. Both of them were like such big signings. But Thiago has come through, but I've not seen Arsenal game. I don't know how
Partey,
he's been playing now.
I mean, he
But
had a
he
decent
sucked in
game
the
against Palace, but
yeah. Like for 80, how
he
much did y'all sign him for? Like some 60, 70
40,
million? 40
40,
million. So it's like I
yeah,
expected him to like
that is.
just transform the midfield, so like I did with Thiago, but it just didn't happen.
That being said, like Arsenal's defense is actually like the third or fourth best, and I think he's had a huge say in that for whatever little
And
part.
Arteta, dude. I think Arteta is also when everyone just assumed it was going to be Pep tiki taka and all, but he seemed. I think he parks the bus kind of a little bit like Tuchel.
I mean, he's had to obviously.
I can't wait for the final when Tuchel they score a weird Werner Havertz like deflected goal and then they park the bus and then he can't score.
No, but I think worth signing a good shout is Semedo, considering they replaced Doherty, who was such a
Doherty
monster.
also
And
couldn't-
Doherty also challenges the worst sign.
That's
Sounds
actually a
like
great
a
shout,
Hussein
actually.
Anitij
right.
trade right there.
Oh, the
Semedo
self-
was like coming from Barca. He was great in
self-goal.
Ultimate Team. Everyone was like, "Oh, him and Adama on the wing." Adama at the beginning of the season looked like he was gonna be. I mean, not obviously a signing, but
I
he
mean,
picks up his.
yeah. For worst signing, I would also say that Ryan Brewster, like they spent some
Oh my
26.
god, 25 million.
Any striker that someone buys from Liverpool, not named Danny Ings, basically you can put their name in that ring in the conversation.
No, especially for like how important goals are for a club like Sheffield, I think he's been a letdown.
Honestly, I was talking to others, Rishabh. He said Van der Beek. I don't know. I think Van der Beek also falls in that Werner category a little bit, where we still haven't seen enough of them play.
Van der Beek hasn't even played.
Yeah,
But there was that one game, the Liverpool.
That's too
The
harsh.
Liverpool game? No. There was one of the United games recently when he finally got the start and he literally did not touch the ball. I don't think he touched the ball. And then he tried to do this one turn and I was like, dude, there's 3 guys that are right there. He immediately lost the ball and he got subbed off.
Honestly, in a bad spot. I hope it gets better. I hope the situation improves.
Even Castagna, I think, was a huge signing of this. Like, it's a huge contender for. Yeah.
Best signing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he did so well. Like, he's put like
Fofana
Ricardo out of position. And
Fofana.
Yeah.
I think Fofana was not this year.
Fofana was.
He was. If only
He was in the
Arsenal
same
signed a
Etienne
90
team, I think.
Oh no! If only Arsenal signed him. Honestly, yeah. And but anyway, I mean, so we'll.
But you have Pablo Mari, so it's fine.
Pablo Mari is a good shout, and
Gabriel
Magalhaes is the most average signing. So I think that's the little worst
What?
answer.
I mean, I
Has he
disagree.
been that good, dude? Has he like been transformative in any
You
way?
know who
Maybe
has
in a couple
honestly
of years?
just been
I don't think
piss
he's been.
poor this season is James Madison. He just hasn't. He's just looked off of it.
It's
Oh,
because of
wow.
his injuries.
Yeah,
I
he's had
feel like
injuries and
he just
stuff.
kept
Yeah.
getting injured.
And
Another
then
Oh,
player
but
I thought would do
terrible
really
in
well was fucking Alex Tellers, dude. I picked him up in fantasy
yeah. Oh
thinking he's gonna
yeah.
change the world,
I'm
and
gonna say if you discount the effect he's had on Shaw, Tellers is possibly the worst signing. Like,
yeah.
like, if you take away that, like he's been atrocious. Like I can't wait to see him play like this last game and like United lose like 3-1 away to Wolves, like Morgan Gibbs White at the double. So anyway, like coming into that, like let's talk about the last day of the season. You know, there's a lot left to be played for
I'm just getting my
a
chart.
few teams. Okay, Anitej is Audi. So anyway, but
It's just like Arsenal on the last day of the season.
there's only
I think
team with
that-
nothing to play for, Arsenal.
They have to play for Saint Otteringham's Day.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's
Possible.
It's a big day. It's a big. Anitej does puja and all for it every day.
Wait, sorry, Ashwin, what were you saying?
So we have, our Champions League aspirations. There's a lot to be left. Like there's still a lot to be decided. I think if essentially if Leicester and Liverpool win and Chelsea draw or lose, they're out. So no team going into that last game from that three can either draw or afford to draw or lose. They have to win, and they're all playing teams that sort of have nothing left to play for. But still, actually, what am I saying? Leicester have Tottenham, who still have
Yeah.
like really
Europa.
big Europa spot left on. Either way, but what do you guys think as Liverpool fans? I mean, let's talk a little bit about like Chelsea and Leicester first, and then we'll move into maybe Liverpool because I think Liverpool have the most likely path. Like they play a Palace team at home. Benteke most probably will not even play, and he's been like the informed player for them this season.
Eze is out for months and months. Sad.
Eze
He's
is terrible.
probably out till like 2022.
Yeah, just a really sad. The way he was playing in the
At
build-up
the
was
end, last couple of weeks.
really, really devastating news. He just looked like such a player, man. Like I was
Mini
so
Zaha. He was just
like,
learning from Zaha.
better decision making, like better
Yeah.
services, all of that.
And
like,
less whining.
exactly. Like he looked
But-
like such a talent.
Coming back to Chelsea, I feel like they have a tough fixture against Aston Villa because Villa just sometimes like they just play well,
Yeah,
and
defense
especially
struggling.
with Grealish
Grealish
coming
back.
back and
Arsenal.
Watkins.
Well, because they're
Watkins
back to
is
their
playing the
preferred
best.
11, which had them fifth in the league for like a couple months. And because of injuries and stuff, they hadn't been able. I guess Cash is still. They start Al Mohammadi instead of him, but I mean against Spurs. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched that game,
So
but I
bad.
bet on Villa. Just like not to lose, but Spurs were getting absolutely demolished and pressed so bad. Spurs itself, that's a whole nother thing. That team is like they might go bottom half of the table if Kane leaves.
Oh
But,
Yeah,
I mean, and Aston Villa also, like, just the two players we didn't give a shout out to, like Ollie Watkins and Martinez, both were signed this summer, and both I think have
Martinez.
Actually,
And
yeah. One of the
both
signs.
have like a big part on how Villa played and how they comfortably, avoided relegation and trying to finish in the top half. So I think that Chelsea probably has, I think, even a harder fixture than Leicester because Spurs just seem out of it and they're not playing well in any form or any sort. But it's just that Kane might want to finish as a top scorer and just decides to show up. But other than that, I just feel like Chelsea, with the Champions League in a week, their mind might be somewhere else. So I don't
It's
know.
also going to be a big team selection thing, right? Like, who is he going to rest? Who is he going to play? Like, the last time he tried to get too cute with it, he's the one himself who said, I got the team selection wrong. So, I mean, the guy is starting to get up there in terms of managers that piss me off, to be honest. He's always, like, crying. He's never happy. But, I mean, yeah, we'll see. I mean, ideal scenario is Chelsea, I guess, win the Champions League, but don't make top four.
Ideally, for the three of y'all, like, except Bala, obviously. For both of y'all, who would y'all rather finish top four out of the three of them?
Leicester
I
and
obviously want Leicester. Like, I mean, I think
Right.
he's about that. But I think between Chelsea and Liverpool, I personally, with Van Dijk back and stuff, I just like look at it from a selfish point of view on like what game would I enjoy watching in the Champions League. I'd much rather watch like a fit Liverpool play. But that being said, I don't know. I mean, I think definitely Liverpool have the easiest path into the Champions League final. I'm like now coming into like the prospects of what I see happening though. I think Liverpool definitely are the most likely to win. But I think I just don't know with like Villa, like Villa and that Chelsea game, I think it could either be a comfortable Chelsea win or like a crazy game, where it like could go either way because Chelsea also like you never know what team shows up, right? Like
Yeah.
look at like the team he put out against City in the league, like the result that they got. Like think about how crucial that result was. Like he literally put out like a second team. So did City, but irrespective, I think like Chelsea. I think if he could start Alonso, you never know like what that guy can do. Like there's just so many like variables with the Chelsea squad
Is
right now.
Kante like fine? I think it was just a precaution.
Also, like so
Yeah.
that's a huge miss for them considering how important and he's been. And like Bala said, like that this Villa team is finally back except Cash, and I think now he's playing Konza and this thing. He's not playing Al-Mahdi
Yeah, he's
anymore.
playing Konza, which is good.
Yeah, so it's actually like much more solid. So it's a really like tough team to break down that midfield. McGinn is an absolute monster. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that guy like was like like scouted by one of the bigger teams. Like, but anyway, it's gonna be
And I
a
was
tough.
looking.
I think having the fans back is also going to play an impact because they
Mm.
have like something to
Mention
play
that
for.
as well. Yeah, that's a huge key point because it's the first time they're playing. And imagine this Villa team, the fans last saw them like battling for relegation, and this is the first time they get to see this
Yeah.
version of it. So they're gonna go all out. And Dean Smith's already said he's like, I don't care. Like I'm gonna just go all out. Like I'm gonna try the best I
I was
possibly.
looking at Leicester's form, and they've won only one game out of the last four. They've drawn to Southampton, lost to Newcastle, lost to Chelsea,
That
and
loss
the
to
only game they
Newcastle was
won.
so bad.
Yeah, so I mean, it might be like where Leicester historically like they've bottled it at the end, so it could be a case of that also. But I feel like still Chelsea are the ones that have to be the most careful.
Yeah, because also not having anything to play for, we've seen in the past has like motivate you to play better, in fact.
Yeah.
Right.
Not having anything to play for except for the fans is like it's like a free hit, right? Like you have
Yeah.
literally nothing to
Like
lose.
like an IFL.
Yeah, like an IFL like dead rubber game, but it's just for the fans. Like there's nothing to lose. Like it's gonna be a wild game, and I think it's quite sad that there's no other like literally only the top four race, but that whole conference Europa like crap is also like quite heated up with Arsenal, like with a cheeky win against Palace.
Wait, and last shout for worst signing, that fucking Sam Allardyce, dude. Like, how do you remove Bilic after winning a game or drawing against City? I forget what the result was, and then you get Sam Allardyce where he just like they didn't even play
Yeah.
like one game that was okay, like they gave
Did you see
Liverpool a
his
scare.
interview?
They beat Chelsea. They beat Chelsea 5-2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see his interview where he called Antonio a disgrace for what he said about his team? That they play long balls to the channels and tall guys. He's like really strange, man. This guy's like Sam Allardyce. He just like went off with Antonio for no reason. He's like what he said was disgusting.
Watch the Antonio interview, but I didn't see the Allardyce response. Like he's like they just play powerful guys down the channel.
Yeah. and he got all
The funny thing is that is what Antonio is. That is what Antonio is. He's a powerful guy
No,
down
but
the
Antonio,
channel.
shout out to Antonio. But honestly, West Ham, man. Like I think coming into like the last day of the season, I think big shout out to the way they've played. Considering where where we expected them, also for them to like have like come home to the fans and have like a big. They play Southampton at home, and their fans have never seen Kufal play. Their fans have never seen Benrahma play. Their fans have never seen Lingard play. Like it's actually quite amazing to see the transformation of that team from the last team.
Now, for all of Anfield, will be able to see Thiago do thumbs up after like misplacing a pass. So looking forward to that also.
That guy.
No, but he
bro.
has been playing well
Do
lately.
not get me
He's been playing
started.
well last 2-3 games, but
Do not get me started on that guy, bro. Oh my god.
and even Wijnaldum will be such a big miss, dude, in the coming seasons. Like he was the only player that was fucking fit throughout in our midfield. And
Yeah.
Going to Barca.
I don't know, but like he's not gonna sign.
Not
And
gonna
for
sign.
another shout for worst signing of the year, even though he signed like 5 years ago now, Naby Keita. Dude. How do you get worse like every year?
He
Yeah.
just got injured again.
No, honestly, at the beginning of the season, yeah, he was saying, oh, he's going to feel like a new signing. So from that feeling, he's the worst.
But he's like a motivation guy because without him, we wouldn't have Naby Lad.
Naby Lad.
That brought everyone together in quarantine. Whenever they used to hop on the Zoom calls, everyone would say, "Oh, Navi lad, Navi lad, Navi lad." Virg will start saying, "Oh, Navi lad." He'll just be smiling there.
He's a little bully. Like he's Nabilad. Anyway, that.
Okay, I have a question for you guys. Actually, I mean, so you guys probably read about
Goal of
Nuno.
the year is Allison's. Yes, I agree.
No. Nuno is obviously leaving Wolves now, and do you think he'll probably go to Spurs?
No, that guy, like, who's that? Fabrizio said that there's no way he's going to Spurs because Daniel Levy has something else, some different kind of manager in mind and all. Some Insta post where he said that,
That's mad.
I think they might just keep Ryan. Maybe Kane will just become player manager. If he can't go anywhere.
Like
character, dude.
like King Kenny.
Oh,
No,
So
I thought he would go to Spurs because they want to get the best out of Doherty. So
Sign him just for one player.
Get the best out of Doherty, so you bring our old manager. Oh my god! And then even he'll realize that Aurier is better, so he'll like make him play Aurier. But anyway, with that, I think any other shouts for best and worst transfer? I think worst transfer. So who gets the worst transfer award? My vote is Semedo still.
But I mean,
because you sold Doherty for 20 million, you signed him for 30 million, and he was a 10 million downgrade. So like overall cost of the club 40 million.
Who is gonna be my worst signing?
Naby
Jota. Jota should be up there for best signing, by the way. I think, right?
Sucks.
Sure.
Fucking injury.
I mean,
oh wait, he might be fit.
He's the reason why Sadio is not performing, I think. So Sadio.
Can we put our name for Sadio Mane? Can we put him in this worst
signing?
Because I'd like to do that.
Actually,
best transfer. Oh, it's not a transfer.
Actually, worst. If you're putting Sadio Mane, worst transfer of this season was Anthony Martial. I think he was.
Oh my God.
No, but he's better than Mane. So
I think this season proved that he's finally worse than Mane, bro. Because like they're both shit. One is so shit. Like, oh my god. But anyway,
should we end it? See you guys maybe for a Champions League final preview. A little detailed analysis. The one.
Yeah, we have some tactical stuff that we've been working on, and
have some.
We get the boards out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
get the white